Oh, I hear that magic chalk on that magic chalkboard.
Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin.
Hi there, I'm Ralph behind the camera.
And welcome to Cavalcade of Food. Ralph, today we are making pumpkin hummus.
Wow.
And you know what? We are kind of into pumpkin season.
Yes.
You know, it's here. And we love pumpkin anything. And over the years on Cavalcade, we've done pumpkin spaghetti sauce, pumpkin chili, of course, all kinds of pumpkin baked goods.
Now, don't get them wrong. We don't like that fake pumpkin spice. We like the pumpkin, the real deal.
Yeah, exactly.
The real flavor.
So we like the flavor of the actual squash, the pumpkin.
Right.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to use a hummus recipe, which, you know, isn't necessarily a complicated recipe, but we're going to incorporate a little pumpkin into it, okay?
Right.
So, Ralph, this whole job is a good one for our friend, the food processor.
Hello,
okay?
friend.
Hello, friend. And you know what? You might have a food processor at home, and it may be in a cabinet or closet or in the basement on a shelf somewhere, and maybe you don't use it that much. These are really pretty great tools for a lot of things, and for something like making hummus, they are ideal.
Yes.
Now,
I can attest to that.
if you don't have a food processor, you could also use a blender. If you've got a real powerful one, okay? Because we got a lot of stuff to grind up here.
Okay.
All right? So, basically, everything goes in, and we get it together. So, I'm starting with 2 15-ounce cans of chickpeas, chichi beans,
Drained.
garbanzo beans, whatever you want to call them.
It's like you drained them.
And rinsed. But when I drain them out of the can, you know what? Always save the liquid, because sometimes you'll find that your hummus is a little too stiff, and a great way to dilute it is to add a little bit of the bean liquor or bean liquid.
Liquor.
That's what some people call it, to the hummus, and that'll thin it out a little bit, and it'll still keep that nice beany chickpea flavor.
Now, I make hummus at home, and I use a Cuisinart or whatever that's called, food processor, and I also never throw away the juice from the chickpeas and the beans, you know, because you can use it for so many things. I blend it into guacamole. I use it as a kind of a seasoning for eggs. There's just a number of things you can do with that flavorful liquid that comes from the beans. And if you wanted to make them from scratch, that's possible too. That's something we've never done, but we have had some of the best hummus in Dearborn at different restaurants there, and they always tell us that the secret is
start with dried chickpeas.
Right, and soak them, and there's certain ingredients that go in that, which we have not ventured into yet. But yeah, so canned beans really save you a lot of steps.
They do. And you know what? I got a thing. I wanted to make these. I always have canned chickpeas in the pantry. That's just a staple. And so otherwise, you know what? One time we'll start with the dried beans when we have the time. Okay. 2 cans of drained, rinsed chickpeas. Then our friend, pumpkin. 1 15-ounce can. This is just the pumpkin puree. Don't get the pumpkin pie mix.
And notice it says 100% pure pumpkin right there on the label.
And if you look at the ingredients, there's one, it doesn't even say ingredient, pumpkin. Now, if you want to go all from scratch and roast your own pumpkins and make your own pumpkin puree, you know what? Knock yourself out, kid. I'm going to tell you, I've done it. I couldn't get it as good as this. So this is one of those things that come in a can that to me are better than I could do myself, and it sure is a step saver. Because believe me, cleaning and roasting and chopping and pureeing a pumpkin is no small task. So we're going to put the whole can in here, Ralph.
Okay, so 2 cans of chickpeas, 1 can,
of
pure pumpkin.
Of pumpkin puree. Yep. Okay. So that's in there. All right. Then can't have pumpkin without a little garlic. So I've got a tablespoon here of minced roasted garlic. Okay. We're going to put that in there.
So you minced it and roasted it?
No, I didn't actually. I got it this way.
Oh.
So you could, again, you know what? It was a time issue. I love roasted garlic because it really almost makes the garlic sweet.
Yeah, no, I only asked because I know you bought some garlic today, and I thought,
I did, and actually that's for something else.
Okay.
Okay, then a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. Use a really nice olive oil here, one that it provides a richness to the hummus, but it also provides flavor.
It does.
So use an olive oil that you really like.
And as Kevin was saying, with the liquid that you keep from the cans of the peas or the chickpeas, you can also put in extra olive oil as you're making it. That's what I do.
Yes, that's another thing that you can use to thin it out with. So we've got some tahini here. So tahini, if you're not familiar, is a sesame paste. It's basically ground sesame seeds. And Ralph, have you ever bought like the natural peanut butter?
Yes.
Right? It's just peanuts and salt, and you know how it separates,
sure.
the oil? Well, no different here. When you buy tahini, often get a long knife or something because you'll find that the oil will rise to the top of the jar, and at the bottom you'll sort of have
the solids.
The solids. So you know what? Now I want 1/3 cup of the tahini paste. So we'll do this.
And luckily nowadays, more and more you can find tahini at most places,
I mean,
so it shouldn't be too hard to
most
find.
Most big stores would
but it is an essential ingredient to making hummus.
And it imparts, again, it's there's the oil from the sesame in there, so it gives the richness from the oil, but just a wonderful flavor. Now this may seem weird, but this is to sort of complement the pumpkin. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of pure maple syrup in here.
Wow.
Okay? And so, again, not to make this a maple flavored hummus.
And you wouldn't put that in if it was just regular hummus.
No,
this is only
not.
because of the pumpkin.
This is to sort of work with the pumpkin.
Gotcha.
And we're just going to use a couple tablespoons of this is a Michigan, Ralph, maple syrup from up north, from northern Michigan. And then we're going to put our seasoning in. So, I sometimes need to adjust it a little bit to taste, but here's what I'm going to start with. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I've got a teaspoon of ground cumin, and I've got just a pinch of cayenne pepper.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we're gonna put that in there. All right. That's it. That's the whole shebang right there. All right. So now, there we go.
I was going to say that'd be just your luck for this thing to conk out while we're filming.
Again, we're looking for a nice, creamy. You want to keep an eye on it. And Ralph, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but we want those chickpeas there to be no signs of the chickpea form in there. I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons of our chickpea liquid in there to help with this. So, hummus should not be too thin, but it needs to be thick enough. It should hold to whatever you're dipping it into. It might be a vegetable. It might be a nice piece of pita bread. It needs to adhere to it. It shouldn't run off of anything, okay? If it does, then it is too thin. So we're going to I'm going to put a couple more spoonfuls here. We're at now 4 tablespoons of, I could put some more olive oil in too if I wanted to.
But keep in mind that the liquid from the canned chickpeas is going to add salt.
Yes.
So keep that in mind while you're making this. If you want to not add more salt flavor, then add more olive oil.
Let's take a look. See, it's still, I don't know if
Chunky.
we can get in here. It's still a little chunky.
Yeah, maybe you need to.
So we're just going to let it run.
Blend it with a little more speed.
Yeah, well, it only has one speed.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. It has two speeds, off and on.
Okay.
All
yeah,
right,
it looks
so-
kind of chunky.
So, you know what? We're going to let it just run. You know, there's a lot in here that to combine. And
Let it do its thing and we'll come back.
We'll come back.
Ooh, it's puffing up nice.
Puffing up. So we're just grilling up some little pita here. I'm going to take that off the heat.
Before the smoke detector goes off.
To go with our hummus. So, you know, we let it process for probably a good 5+ minutes because we really wanted it nice and smooth, and is it ever?
And if you only have one speed on your food processor, there's no harm in letting it go for a good long time.
Yeah. And because you really want it should be nice and smooth. And then the other thing too is that we added probably in total about 3/4 of a cup of the bean liquid.
Yeah, we felt like it needed a little more of that, and then a little olive oil.
And then we put in a splash more olive oil. So that's probably I'll have the recipes right below, so you'll have all the measurements. Ended up using about 1/3 of a cup of the olive oil.
But it is a taste test type of thing where you keep kind of going back and forth and getting it to your liking, tasting it and testing it. So
and as well as make sure the salt is where you want it, and it has a great little pumpkin flavor to it. But look how smooth this is, Ralph.
Yeah, it looks really.
Now I garnished it with just a little cayenne. You know what's so funny? You definitely taste the pumpkin.
Creates like a nice body, a nice base.
You get the garlic, and it is ever so slightly a kiss of the sweet from that syrup.
Okay.
But it is a lovely flavor. Love it. And I don't want to double dip here. So
let me try some.
You try it.
Okay. Oops, I'm probably. Let me see if I can make the.
Do you remember how to do that? There you go.
Hey, everybody.
Good, huh?
It's really good. I think I made red pepper hummus for Cavalcade one time. So
yeah,
whatever you have on hand, you can use. The pumpkin is a really good base for this.
Especially this
time of year. Right. So thank you for letting me get on camera and try it. I do recommend it. Give it back to Kevin. And I just want to also quickly say we've got some wonderful vegetables there that go as well as anything with this hummus.
Oh, the radish is excellent.
And also I wanted to say thank you to everyone who takes the time to comment on Cavalcade of Food. We really appreciate you. Yes, we really do. And tell your friends and family and stay safe and be well and
stay strong. And thanks for sharing a little time with us as we made our pumpkin hummus. Hope you give the recipe a try. And until next time, we'll see you again right back here on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.